everyone, and welcome back to Art with Miss Choate. Happy Cinco de Mayo, I did not forget. And so to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, we're going to be making papel picado. I think I'm saying that wrong. Most likely I'm saying that wrong. But if you've ever seen it, it's the basically streamers or like banners of cut paper. So we're going to be using some old tissue paper. Pick your colors thoughtfully, or maybe not so thoughtfully, depends on what kind of old tissue paper you have in your house. If you have new ones that you're able to use, then that's even better. We can either print out templates, or I'll show you how to make your own template and cut them out so they're all the same. So go grab that tissue paper and let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do, you have your scrap tissue paper or new tissue paper, and we're also going to take a piece of regular paper and we're going to draw our template out. Now there's plenty of options online if you have a printer to print out, but I prefer, let's just make our own design. So we're going to start by folding it in half, and we're going to draw out half of our design. So the other half's going to be symmetrical to this half. So when we draw like half a heart here, the other half will be over here. So it's just going to make it easier for us to cut. And this can just be a guide. It doesn't have to be, you know, if you start going and you don't like it or you want to change it up, that's totally fine. So the first thing I want to do is think about the edge. It's not normally a straight line. So I'm just going to do a nice wavy line. So remember from our other videos where we were talking about line types, this is great time to reflect on those. Do you remember? You could do zigzag. You could do what I call a castle line. So I did a wavy line. You can pick a different kind of line. And then I'm going to do a heart in the center because I really think kids find that as a cute trick. So you're doing like a candy cane shape, and then it's actually going to be on the other side too when we cut that out. And then I'm going to do some leaf shapes. Now remember, these can be you can do any kind of shapes, organic, geometric, that's up to you. So just because I'm doing it this way, you can totally decide that this is not how you want yours to look. And just because you do one template this way doesn't mean they all have to look this way. You could decide that they all are different. So now we're going to go ahead and cut this out. Actually, no, we're not cutting out. What we're going to be doing, we're going to be putting our tissue paper inside of it. So if you're using old tissue paper, you're going to need to flatten it out, and you're going to want to have it be the size of your paper. Now you could fold it multiple times so it ends up the size of your paper, or you can go ahead and cut them, and this doesn't have to be perfect. And you're going to be able to do this to multiple pieces at once. So if you want to take that and bring it over here, do your next one. Now, since I'm using recycled tissue, it's not going to be perfect, but I'm okay with this because at least I'm using things in my house. And I could make smaller ones out of this, but I'll set it to the side. And I also had some white tissue. So this one, could almost leave it folded as it is. I'm gonna get rid of my folded edge. And I'm just doing this a little rough. Like I said, we're putting our template on top. And this I'm gonna set aside. Again, I can do smaller ones out of it, or it's honestly, you know what? I'm gonna be able to do this. Cut away the fold. There we go. Now I'm gonna stack them on top of each other. Now you wanna make sure if they're not exactly the same size, at least where your folded paper is gonna be, that they all line up. You wanna bring all of those nicely, as neatly as possible. And now we're going to fold them in half, and we're going to bring our template to it. Now, to ensure that it doesn't move around on you, you can take some tape. This one's a little long. I'm going to tape it here. You can even tape it other places, but mine won't move around too much on me. So I'm gonna start, well, if I do the outline, I'm gonna mess up that tape. So I'm gonna do the inside stuff first. So I'm cutting it here. And you're just gonna keep cutting it. And remember that template's just your guide. Now to get to these, you have a couple ways. You can poke through with your scissors, or an easier way, you're just gonna fold it. And again, remember this is just a guide. So I'm just gonna cut like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm folding it kind of in the center. Now, depending on how good your scissors are, you might only be able to do 2 at once or 3 at once. So now I have those. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. Fold this in half, cut out my circle, fold it. Now I know a lot of my students try to go like this with their scissors and they can't get through multiple pieces. Go back here, you have more leverage on your scissors when you have them back further, and you can cut through more layers of paper. I see a lot of my students struggling with that. Go further back into the scissors and you have more leverage. And if your student is struggling with it, then go ahead and do less layers. Just do it multiple times. So now that I have that all cut out, maybe I would want something over here. I didn't have it, but that's okay. I'm gonna add a circle. And since I have it over there and I kind of want it to be symmetrical, like I have 3 here, I have the same, I'm gonna do a circle here. So now you have a couple different ways where you can string these together. We could either do some glue or some tape and use very little bits of our string, or if you have a nice long piece, you can simply put the whole thing attached to the back. Or if you're like mine and we have these holes here, I'm just gonna string them together. That way I can reuse this string after, and I'm not, like, even after I'm done with my decorations, I can take them down and you see how that holds it up? You can reuse it after, and I like that a lot. So that's how I'm gonna do it. But you can use tape, you can use glue, and just use little sections. And think about what colors you're stringing together. Are you doing a pattern? Are you doing white, white, red, white, white, red? Or are those not the colors that you have? And I'm using this ribbon that's been used before, so it has some kinks in it, but that's okay. I'm using things I have in my house. And if you don't have a big enough piece, that's where you can just join them together at the corners. But I like the idea of not having to cut my string. So here we go, got them strung together. They look pretty nice. I'm gonna put these up in my window to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. So I wanna see how you decorate with your cut paper. So show me a comment on Facebook, Instagram, any of the social medias, and I will get back to you. Please, if you like this and you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and subscribe so you get little ding notified every time it's 9 a.m. and you can find out what we're doing the next day. So share this along if you didn't realize or know about this and you're like, I have scrap, tissue paper. I know my friend does. Please share it with them. I want to get everyone creating art during this crazy time that we're in. So let me see what you got. Bye.